Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports Podcast. On this podcast, Lane Frank, we're on episode 189. So 189 episodes through, and I got an action-packed episode planned for you. It's our season 4 finale. It's also our Halloween special, everybody. Unlike Michigan football, which doesn't have a competent coaching staff, I'm going to be Sherrod Moore today. I'm going to be the Michigan football head coach, as you can tell by my outfit, reigning national champions. But we've got a great World Series going on. We're going to break that down. We've got great college football week ahead of us. NFL, NBA off to a great start. So much more. Stay tuned for an awesome action-packed episode 189. Let's not there today. One opening week we had in the NBA, and to kick things off in the NBA, we had our Lakers going up against Minnesota Timberwolves, the first game of the year, and we had JJ Redick putting together an incredible game plan, and they've been winning games since. The past few years, since the Lakers won that 2020 championship, they started out seasons not in such a great way, let's say. Losing to the Nuggets a few years ago to make it like 0-5 a start. Losing a lot of early games in the season since that 2020 championship. This team looks different, everybody. JJ Redick has his team going. I just saw a thing on Instagram. Baron Davis said he saw JJ Redick, I think at some place. He was already watching film. JJ Redick knows what he's doing as an NBA head coach. It was kind of funny seeing Bron get in there, but LeBron looks rejuvenized. AD looks like an MVP candidate, no doubt about it. This team looks really good, everybody. Lakers, love what I'm seeing so far out of LA. Another team in LA, Los Angeles Clippers. I love Intuit Dome. That new stadium looks incredible. I saw a thing. It's like it's Steve Ballmer's $2 billion playground. Pretty much is. It's working. Only thing I noticed right now with the Clippers is, though, great stadium, great superstar James Harden. Get one more reliable, consistent co-star to go next to him. Could that have been DeMar DeRozan this offseason? I think so. Could that maybe be a Zach LaVine? Maybe. Could that maybe be another superstar like a Jimmy Butler to go there? It'd be awesome to see. But I think they need one more guy that consistently play healthy, unlike a Kawhi Leonard who isn't ever healthy. So, what a week we had right there with the LA teams, Lakers, and the Clippers. My New York Knicks, everybody, took a hard L on opening night, but they rebounded, got a nice win over the Indiana Pacers, the team that eliminated them last year, and then they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I'm excited still. This team's improving. Karl-Anthony Towns fitting in. Cal Bridges finding his way, but excited to see coming up from New York Knicks. The number one pick, Zachary Sacher. I'm very disappointed what I've seen from this number one pick so far. Okay, one good game, he had 12 points. Last night, I think he went like 12% from the field. That's not good basketball at all, everybody, especially from the number one pick. We know this isn't a good NBA draft class. We know that. That doesn't mean the number one pick shouldn't not be a good player. He should still be a good player, and he really isn't showing that right now. So, did the Hawks waste that pick? Maybe. Zachary Sacher really playing bad basketball right now. Speaking of number one picks, another number one pick from 2 years ago, Victor Wembanyama, playing really well, everybody. It's working well with Chris Paul. One thing I noticed with Wemby, though, he's not putting up a crazy amount of points, 14 points the other night, but he had 21 rebounds to go with it. Wemby, hopefully the Spurs team ready to take that next step, including Wemby taking that next step. Let's move over to another Southwestern team, Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant playing really good basketball right now. They're winning games. Suns, Mike Budenholzer, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, they won that good opening night game against the Clippers. Now they're rolling right now. Mike Budenholzer, early candidate for Coach of the Year. Never know. Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic on a roll right now. And I said this the other day on the Twitter. Paolo Banchero has officially arrived as a superstar. He's been a great player in the league his first 3 years. He's been great. Going into his third season now, he's officially a superstar, everybody, and that game showed that. He had 39 points in the first half. He had 50 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Paolo Banchero has arrived, everybody, as a superstar in this league. Minnesota Timberwolves, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, kind of meshing well right now. Exciting to see. Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, how will they finish out the season? Leave your answer in the comments. Just talk about the Clippers in the arena. LaMelo Ball, playing well. Yeah, we didn't get to see LaMelo Ball much the past 2 years because he's been injured. We haven't got to see anything of Lonzo Ball. We haven't got to see much of LaMelo Ball. But when LaMelo Ball is healthy on NBA court, I truly believe he's a top 5, maybe even top 3 point guard in the NBA. A guy who's also maybe a top 5 guard in the NBA, but got hurt on the opening night. DeJounte Murray out for remaining few weeks, or maybe about 8 weeks, 10 weeks with a broken hand. I think he was playing really well in his debut with the Pelicans. He looked like he was finally fitting into his role with Zion Williamson. He wasn't in a good role in Atlanta, but with New Orleans, he was playing a good role. They were on trajectory to win that game, on trajectory to have a good season. Nice hurt, so sets him back a little bit. But I liked what I saw from DeJounte Murray that first game. Just tough they had to break his hand in that one. That's about for the news of the NBA in our first week. For NFL. What a great week we had. Started out on Thursday Night Football, Rams versus the Vikings, and the Vikings took their second straight L. A little bit tough right there, but I do expect Sam Darnold and company to bounce back. Nice one for the Rams. Broncos keeping things going. Just played some good football, everybody. Pat Surtain, one of the best defenders in the NFL, had a few interceptions on Sunday. Bo Nix and his team, 5-3. Didn't really expect to see that. So, Bo Nix, 5-3 as starting quarterback. It's pretty good football. Kansas City Chiefs say it every week, and they do it every week. They do enough. They get the win. They're not blowing out teams. They're not dominating teams like they used to, but they're doing enough, and they're getting the wins. That's the perfect way to do it. Andy Reid, friend of the show, coaches some good football right now. Maybe Coach of the Year. Another guy who could be Coach of the Year, Washington Commanders head coach Dan Quinn. Now, I said it before in the show, Dan Quinn should have been the Dallas Cowboys head coach. He was in that building for every day for 2 years, and they kept Mike McCarthy, and they let Dan Quinn walk. Now Dan Quinn is one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's been to Super Bowl before as the head coach of the Falcons. Jane Daniels is playing incredible football. That Hail Mary on Sunday was just the epitome of it all. We love to see it. Chargers got a nice win on Sunday over Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints. Jesse Minter, the Los Angeles Wolverines, you could call it. The whole entire Michigan staff seems like they're over there. But Justin Herbert played good football. 26-8. After I kind of called Justin Herbert out last week, playing some good football now. Buffalo Bills went to Seattle, and they torched that Seattle Seahawks defense. So, Seahawks, some things to be worried about right now. That defense in the first year of that Mike McDonald team, playing some good football at sometimes, and then some bad football at sometimes. Is Geno Smith the guy going forward? I don't know. He is for the rest of the season, but Josh Allen, the Bills, got a nice win on Sunday. Philadelphia Eagles, at a point in the season, were struggling, everybody. Their record wasn't good. They were a good team, obviously, but their record wasn't good, and it was dating back all the way to last season. Now Philadelphia Eagles, 3 straight wins, 3 straight great games. That's a great win on Sunday over the Cincinnati Bengals, 37-17. Cleveland Browns started Jameis Winston at quarterback on Sunday, and he looked like an incredible quarterback. He looked like a Pro Bowl, All-Pro level quarterback. And I got a segment coming up later about Jameis Winston. Can't wait to do it, everybody. Lions, proven they might be the best team in the NFL, everybody. 41-12 over the Titans on Sunday. Just incredible football. Jared Goff only had to throw for 85 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they still put up 41 points. Incredible stuff right there. But Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, his whole entire Detroit Lions staff, Aaron Glenn, defense coordinator, love to see it. Houston Texans got a nice win Sunday over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Texans didn't really have to do much. Indianapolis Colts, especially Anthony Richardson, shot themselves in the foot. And that's why Anthony Richardson is benched right now, because he's pretty much a dark path right now as an NFL quarterback. He's down a dark path right now. And we're going to talk about it later on in the episode, at the buzzer, about these quarterback draft classes that have struggled with everybody. And that leads off Anthony Richardson 2023. That's a decent 2023 quarterback class. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, everybody, does not look like a good NFL quarterback. It's a shocker that the quarterback who wasn't consistent in college isn't going to be consistent in the NFL. So, same thing with Daniel Jones, my New York Giants. I didn't think Daniel Jones was consistent in college. I didn't think he won games in college. Shocker, he can't do it in the NFL either, everybody. But that's besides the point. Texans, nice one Sunday. Giants, tough L, Monday Night Football to the Steelers. Packers got a nice one Sunday, but it comes with a price. Jordan Love going down with injury. But hey, they got Malik Willis. Malik Willis has been great for them so far. So if Jordan Love can't go this week, Malik Willis has got them. And they play the Lions this week. It's going to be a great game. Cardinals, great win on Sunday over the Miami Dolphins, 28-27. And that's 2 straight wins now for Arizona Cardinals. Patriots, I mean, they just torched, it seemed like, torched the soul out of the New York Jets. It wasn't a blowout, but they torched the soul out of the New York Jets, because this Jets team, everybody, it was life for about 2 weeks. They fired Robert Saleh. They had Devontae Adams. Everything was going to be good. Then their, Sunday Night Football debut against Steelers didn't go great, but they have this week against the Patriots. Devontae Adams hopefully could play well. It didn't happen. It really didn't happen. Devontae Adams played terrible football. It seemed like Aaron Rodgers didn't know what he was doing out there. The offense was abysmal, and the defense was abysmal too. Patriots won that game. Their second win of the season. Their first since week 1. Embarrassing right there by New York Jets. Atlanta Falcons went down to Tampa Bay. Got a nice win there. Kirk Cousins played some good football. And we just talked about Steelers, Monday Night Football. That's about for the headlines this week. Now, we got a great NFL slate everybody this weekend. We got a lot of great games. Last week, we had some good games too, some good matchups. A lot of upsets last week, so I wasn't happy with my record. I'm going to be happy with my record this week because we're going perfect this week's NFL games. You know how we roll. Pick the best games of the week. Starting out Thursday Night Football, Texans-Jets. I'm an idiot. I'm picking the Jets right here. Okay, here we go. Texans, like I said last week, they didn't have to do much. They kind of just let the other opponent shoot themselves in the foot. That's something like the Jets would do. It seems like Jets would do that, but I don't think so. You get a short rest. You kind of have to really adjust right here for the Texans and the Jets. I think the Jets want to win this game this week. They're going to get it done. They're going to run after the sunset. You win a game on Thursday Night Football. I think that can really boost your morale. It's proven. You win Thursday Night Football, you win your next 2 games, and that's going to happen right here for the Jets. Devontae Adams plays some good football. Home game, really his first taste of New York football, his first home game. Let's see how it goes. Cowboys versus the Falcons. I'm good with the Falcons this one. I hate this Cowboys defense. It didn't do well against the Niners. A bad Niners offense right now, so Falcons over the Cowboys. Broncos versus the Ravens. Now, these teams have the same record, 5-3. Ravens played bad last week against the Browns. Broncos are a fake 5-3 team. I say that with all respect because Bo Nix played good football. All their 5 wins are against easy teams. It's like Nebraska football. I was looking at the schedule today. They're 5-3. All their wins against easy teams. So, Broncos, fake 5-3. Drop the 5-4 right here. Let's go Ravens. Move on to 6-3. Chargers versus the Browns. I love the way Jameis Winston played last week. I did. I think he's going to play well again this week. But the Los Angeles Chargers defense is going to shut down this running offense of the Browns. This Chargers offense can exploit this Browns defense. Let's go LA over the Browns. Next game, Bears versus the Cardinals. So, Bears hit a little rough patch last week. That was tough to see. Losing that game to the Washington Commanders when Caleb Williams and company had it in the bag. They didn't get it done. Some of that mojo goes down right now. Some of that enthusiasm in the locker room decreases. Could Matt Eberflus be on the hot seat? I don't know. Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals. Again, nice one right here. Cardinals over the Bears. Lions versus the Packers. And this is the game of the week, everybody. I don't care if Jordan Love's starting or not. I think Malik Willis can do a good job in place of Jordan Love. And if Jordan Love plays, that's great for me and my fantasy football team. But when I say this, the Lions are the best NFL team, I mean it, everybody. This running attack, Gibbs and Montgomery is incredible. Jared Goff doesn't have to do much. He's game manager, and guess what? He doesn't turn the ball over. These receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dan Skipper, he's an offensive lineman. He can play receiver too, a little bit. Sam Laporta, he's had a down year. Still a good tight end. This offensive line is solid. This defense, without Aiden Hutchinson, is still a good defense. Safeties, even the special teams. Khalif Raymond ran a back kick last week. So, even though it's in Lambeau Field, even though I love this Packers team, I'm going to go with the Lions right here over the Packers. Rams versus the Seahawks. Rams, nice win last week. And like I said, you win Thursday Night Football, your trajectory for the rest of the season goes up. And they did that last week. So, let's go another win right here. Rams over the Seahawks. Vikings versus the Colts. It's going to be a good game right here. Colts, Joe Flacco starting at quarterback for them. It's kind of crazy that Joe Flacco has lived this long in the NFL. He's still a starting quarterback. I love Joe Flacco, though. He can play some good football. The Vikings, long rest week. They're going to rebound right here. Move on to 6-2. Vikings over the Colts. The last game of the week, Buccaneers versus Chiefs. Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. A good offense in the Buccaneers versus a good offense in the Kansas City Chiefs. Who does a better job? So, big difference between the Buccaneers this year and last year is that they don't have Dave Canales. Now it's more of a defensive run team because this new offense coordinator isn't running that same system as Dave Canales, now the Panthers head coach. Todd Bowles maybe has made some bad decisions this year. Look at Chris Godwin playing in a meaningless snaps, breaking his ankle. Okay? Baker Mayfield, I think, played well last week. Cade Otton is a great tight end, put up 100 yards in back-to-back weeks, had about 2 touchdowns last week. But none of that matters because they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. You don't go against Mahomes, everybody, especially right now when they're 8-0. So, I'm going to say it again, like I've said it all year. Chiefs and Mahomes do enough, and they get the win. Chiefs 28-21 over the Buccaneers. And that's about for game day this week. Top 5. This week's Top 5, everybody. It's about something we haven't talked about in a very long time, but something I'm very excited for. College basketball. Yes, I'm not just a college football expert. I'm a college basketball expert too. And I can't wait for the season to start on Monday. We got great stuff coming up. We'll give you our full college basketball preview next episode. But for right now, let's give you my top 5 teams in college basketball. This isn't necessarily my national championship picks. This isn't necessarily my player of the year picks, anything like that. It's just my top 5 teams in college basketball going into the season. Let's hop into it. For 5, UConn Huskies, back-to-back reigning champions. Still some good players. Danny Hurley, back coaching the squad. Another player back coaching the squad, Alex Caravan. Alex Caravan was a key piece of the past 2 championship teams. He'll be on this team. Liam McNeely, 5-star out of Montverde Academy. He's on this team. Look at Terrace Reed, a guy who was at Michigan the past few years. He's on this team now. He can maybe play into that Donovan Clingan type of role right here. So, still some good players in this UConn team. They lost a lot of good talent, of course. They lost Tristan Newton. They lost a few good guys. They lost Camp Spencer. But I think they can still rebound, have a good year. 5, UConn. 4, the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, a lot of people think Kansas is number 1. I don't think so. You look at a guy like AJ Storr, a transfer from Wisconsin, really, really good player. You look at someone like, let's go KJ Adams. KJ Adams had a good year last year. Hunter Dickinson, if he can stay in the court, even though, as a Michigan fan, a lot of animosity right now towards Hunter Dickinson. But I saw a thing that Kansas played a little sneaky secret scrimmage and got dominated. Hunter Dickinson didn't play in that game, but they got dominated. That moves them down my rankings. I think they're still a good team with Hunter Dickinson healthy. 4, Kansas. And they were a good team last year. They just fell off towards the end. Number 3, let's go with the Duke Blue Devils there, buddy. Duke is incredible right now, it seems like. But they're young still, okay? They played Arizona State in exhibition on Sunday. And Arizona State, not a bad team. Bobby Hurley went to Duke. He's put together a good squad. Arizona State down in Tempe. Duke won 103-49. Let me repeat. The Duke Blue Devils won that game 103-49. This team has Kaman Malak from Sudan. You'd call him, Sudan Shaq, 7'3", played in the Olympics, did a good job for South Sudan. Cooper Flagg, who was the best player in the USA Select team, even though he was still in high school at the time. Now he's at Duke. He's going to be one of the best players in the country. Con Knuppel, an underrated freshman who I hear might be better than Reed Shepherd at Kentucky last year. There's so many good pieces on this Duke team. Sion James from Tulane, transfer point guard. A lot of good players in this Duke team. Tyrus Proctor is back. Caleb Foster is back. Obviously, John Shire is back at head coach. Could this be the year for Duke? We're just going to have to wait and see. But 3, Duke Blue Devils heading into the season. For 2, a team that I watched play last year that I thought did a good job and had a great season that can even have a better season this year, Houston. Houston losing some guys, but you're also bringing back LJ Cryer. You're bringing in Mercy Miller, who's going to be one of the best players, one of the best freshmen in the country. You still have Emmanuel White. You still have Javier Francis. Good team right here, Houston. Number 2, Kelvin Sampson. His guys looking for their first championship at Houston. Number 1, the Alabama Crimson Tide, everybody. No, this is not football. This is basketball, everybody. The Alabama Crimson Tide, the best team in the country. They made the Final Four last year. They're a very scrappy team. Everybody came back. Grant Nelson came back. Mark Sears came back. Excited to watch this team, everybody. The Final Four team from last year returns, and they're the best team heading into the season. 1, Alabama. That's part for Top 5, everybody. Now, did you know? This week's Did You Know? It's a great one. Did you know the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, when they played Navy at MetLife Stadium on Saturday, put up 7 touchdowns? 7. That is more than the New York Giants and New York Jets at home combined the whole entire season. That is their home stadium, the Giants and Jets, MetLife Stadium. Combined, they only have 6, and Notre Dame put up 7 at that stadium on Saturday. Incredible stuff right there from Notre Dame. Disgusting stuff from these New York football teams, everybody. So, that's why I didn't know this week. Now, I previewed it in the headlines, and I want to talk about it now. Jameis Winston is my spotlight for this week, everybody. He's a flashy guy. He's a nice guy. He's a guy who's down to earth at times and also maybe way too high at sometimes. He's a guy where you don't know what his next move is going to be. Either it's a 90-yard touchdown or it's the worst interception you've ever seen. But that's the beauty of watching Jameis Winston play football. Those things I just said about Jameis Winston, the 90-yard touchdown and the interception, the worst you've ever seen, that might have been Jameis Winston a few years ago when he was in Tampa Bay. I believe this Jameis Winston now in Cleveland is different and renewed type of football player, a rejuvenated football player, Jameis Winston. He's 30 years old now. He was immature in college. He's admitted to that, but he was also the youngest player at the time to ever win the Heisman, who wouldn't be immature at that time. He was suspended at Florida State. Wasn't a big deal. He still led the team to the first ever college ball playoff, no matter how that Rose Bowl went against Oregon. He was still number 1 pick. He still was thrown at the time for the most touchdowns ever in a rookie season and made the Pro Bowl as a rookie. He still has had the first ever 30-30 season in the NFL, and he still can have a career in the NFL at 30 years old. We've seen it all the time. Look at Sam Darnold this year. Perfect example. Look at Joe Flacco, a guy who had a great start to his career, fell off a little bit, and now he's getting back in the wagon right now. Did it last year with Cleveland, doing it right now with the Indianapolis Colts. Even a Case Keenum from a few years ago, a guy who was an afterthought after having a great college career, led Minnesota to the playoffs. It's possible for Jameis Winston, and he could do better than all those guys, in my opinion, because he has the talent to do it, and he always has. Now he's a great staff in Ken Stefanski. I read somewhere that, Deshaun Watson, the reason why he struggled so much with the Browns is that Kevin Stefanski really tried to put a hardcore NFL offense around him. But when Deshaun Watson was in Houston, he didn't have a hardcore NFL offense. It was more of a college-style offense. He wasn't ready for that NFL offense. That's why when Joe Flacco came in last year, he did great. That's why when Jameis Winston came in this year, he's done great. So Jameis Winston, and a good offense now with a good scheme, Ken Stefanski, I think could have a great career and a great season. Like I said, he's 30 years old. He's 145 touchdowns and 99 interceptions in his career. It's a little bit crazy of a stat, but he's got a good touchdown-interception ratio. He's got 46 more touchdowns than interceptions. It's not too bad. 34 touchdowns and 31 turnovers in the 2019 season. Let me repeat that. He had 34 touchdowns and 31 turnovers in the 2019 season. Some of those games were great. Some of those games were bad. And he got shipped off the next year because they were bringing in Tom Brady. But in 2021, after not playing much in 2020, Jameis had 14 touchdowns and 3 picks. And I don't believe Jameis Winston has had a true shot in the NFL since that season. I really don't. I don't think so. So Jameis Winston, maybe he was done wrong by Tampa Bay. Maybe he was done wrong by New Orleans and Sean Payton and Dennis Allen. But I believe now, in Cleveland, is Jameis Winston's time, everybody. And that's why he's my spotlight, everybody. Jameis Winston for Comeback Player of the Year. You can bookmark it. And that's about it for the Spotlight this week. Now, College Ball Showcase, everybody. So I talked about last week in College Ball Showcase how I know the most about college football. And it's getting a little bit redundant now, everybody, of me saying that. Because it looks like I'm wearing a Halloween costume saying that because maybe it's not true. Maybe my picks have been so bad this year that that's not true. But I don't think so. I think my picks have been bad this year. I'll admit they've been terrible this year, my picks. Last week was maybe the worst ever of picks after I said come back and go 6 for 6. But I'm ready for this week in college football. I'm ready to show you my top 25, the Halloween edition of college football, and we're going to give you the best hot takes you've ever seen coming up next after this top 25. Let's hop into it. The number 1 team in the country, the Oregon Ducks, everybody. 2, Georgia Bulldogs. 3, Texas, go Longhorns, or maybe horns down. 4, Miami. Big matchup this week against Duke. Go the U. 5, Tennessee. 6, Penn State. Huge matchup against Ohio State this week. 7, Ohio State. 8, Notre Dame. Go Irish. Playing some great football since that Northern Illinois loss. 9, Texas A&M. They made the move to Marcel Reed, and it worked out perfectly for them. 10, Indiana. Undefeated. Great football team. 11, Clemson. 12, BYU. Jake Retzlaff and BYU undefeated in the Big 12. Looking like they're going to make the college football playoff. 13, Alabama. Really like the way they responded against Missouri last week. Dominating them. 14, Iowa State. Also undefeated. 15, Boise State. 1 loss to the best team in the country, Oregon. 16, Pitt. 17, SMU. 18, LSU. 19, Army. The best service academy out there right now. 20, Kansas State. 21, Duke. Rough game last week against SMU. We'll break it down later. 22, Ole Miss, go Rebels. 23, Navy. Keeping them in my top 25 because that was a tough team you played in Notre Dame. You still only have 1 loss and you're still a good team. 23, Navy. 24, Colorado. Perfect timing. Last year on this episode, the Halloween episode, I wore my whole entire Coach Prime outfit. We're not doing that this year, but Colorado 24 and 25, Washington State Cougars, Jake Dickert doing a good job as their head coach. So that's my top 25, everybody. Stay tuned for the hot takes coming up next. Now, it's time for the hot takes, everybody. And like I said, we've done poorly in the hot takes this year. There's no evading that. There's no doubting that. I'm admitting it too. But this week is going to be the best week of the hot takes. So let's hop into them. Duke versus Miami. The first game. I think Duke does the improbable. They go down to Miami. They pull the upset. They did it 3 years ago when they last played Miami. Actually, 2 years ago when they last played Miami. And they won. So, I think Duke, this defense, you watch this defense, and they are a top defense in college football, if not the top defense in college football. They forced 6 turnovers on one of the most efficient offenses in the country last week in SMU. The problem was the offense couldn't score off of those turnovers, and the kicker missed 3 kicks, and Duke let that one slip out of their hands against SMU. If not, Duke's sitting at 7-1 with a top 20 ranking, and they're a really good team, playing one of the best teams in the country in Miami. Cam Ward to Miami, people don't think they've been tested. I think they've been tested. I look at the Cal game, they've been tested. I look at the Florida game, they've been tested. This is going to be a sleeper game right here. They did great against Louisville 2 weeks ago. Miami, they put 52 points. That defense can give up a lot of points. What you want for a good defense is to go up against good offense. And this game has that. Miami is one of the best offenses in the country. And like I said, Duke is one of the best defenses in the country. But I think it's all said and done. The Duke offense can take over this Miami defense. And this Duke defense can shut down this Miami offense. So I'm going with the massive upset. I got Duke over Miami. Next game, Pitt versus SMU. Pitt is undefeated. SMU has 1 loss. Both really good ACC teams. Didn't expect SMU to do this well in their first year. But one thing right here, SMU, I think, forced about 6 turnovers last week on Syracuse. They had about 5 interceptions. Kyle McCord, 3 pick sixes. Kevin Jennings and SMU turned the ball over 6 times last week. This is a perfect matchup for Pitt at home. Pitt over SMU outright, everybody. Next game, it's Halloween, everybody. I might be an idiot for doing this. I'm dressed as the Michigan football head coach. They're playing the Oregon Ducks. Everybody's talking me out of this pick. But sometimes, everybody, you got to pick with your heart and stay your head. So I'm doing that right here. Let's go with the Michigan Wolverines over the number 1 team in the country, Oregon Ducks. I can explain. Like I said, sometimes it's better to pick with your heart than pick with your head. And I'm doing that right here. So hopefully, Sharon Moore can make some good calls. Wake Martindale can make some good calls. And the Michigan football team can win this game. But this defense, like I said with Duke, is a top defense in the country. Michigan really is. They have the players to do it. They have the best defensive line. Will Johnson, if he can be healthy in this one, Michigan can shut down this Oregon offense. Ohio State did a good job at containing it, limiting it to 30 points. Boise State limited it a little bit. It can be contained, this Oregon offense. Dylan Gabriel is not a perfect quarterback. He can throw interceptions. Davis Warren and Alex Orji was the perfect balance last week. Davis Warren played good football. Alex Orji played good football. Jack Tuttle retired from football. So, Michigan can run the ball. Dalvin Edwards, who's one of the best running backs in the country. He's on the cover of College Ball 25 for a reason. I think Michigan can win this game at the Big House. 3:30 kickoff. Oregon gets tripped up against my Michigan Wolverines. That's a huge hot take right there. Again, call me an idiot. I'm an idiot for this pick. But it's going to happen. Pick with my heart over my head, and it's going to happen, everybody. The Michigan Wolverines defeat the Oregon Ducks. Next game, another ACC matchup. Clemson versus Louisville. A lot of people think this is going to be a close game. Clemson coming off a bye week. Cade Klubnik playing some good football. They win this game right here. They destroy Louisville. Clemson over Louisville. South Carolina versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M. Whew! Huge win last week against LSU. You were down and out, and you brought in Marcel Reed to win that game. May I remind you, Texas A&M fans, there's a reason why Marcel Reed didn't get the job over Connor Wakeman. Marcel Reed only threw 2 passes on Saturday. He had a lot of great runs, and he had a lot of great passes in those 2 passes, but it was 2 passes. South Carolina's coming off a bye week. They won their pass game 35-9 over South Carolina. They lost by about 1 point the week before that to Alabama. This is a very good South Carolina football team. Mike Elko, does his defense have what it takes to shut down Nicholas Harper, to shut down Lenore Sellers? I don't think so. So I'm calling another upset. It's Halloween weekend. Why not go for the upsets, everybody? South Carolina over Texas A&M. Expect unexpected. Gamecocks over the Aggies in the best game of the week. The Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. A dream for me as a Michigan fan, this matchup. I'm kidding. Will Howard said, I'm stoked for this game. He's stoked. He grew up a Penn State fan. He grew up right around Penn State. They told him his whole life, well, you're not good enough. Drew Aller grew up a Penn State fan, but also grew up in Ohio. So he's a little bit of Ohio State fan too. It's a little bit of a homecoming for Will Howard. It's a little bit maybe of a revenge game even for Drew Aller. Losing this game last year, up in Happy Valley this year. Can he get it done? Penn State hasn't been able to beat Ohio State since 2016. James Franklin hasn't been able to get a signature win since 2016. That huge win into Ohio State. Because since then, this program has been trajectory or pretty much graphed as a top 10 team that can't get over the hump. We saw it with Jim Harbaugh for years at Michigan, and they finally got over the hump. Can James Franklin follow that path and get over the hump? I say no, everybody. Unfortunately, I'm going with the Ohio State Buckeyes in this game. Just to out the Drew Aller. We don't know. Ohio State over Penn State. And that's it. The hot takes this week. We're going 6 for 6. We got Duke over Miami, Pitt over SMU, Michigan over Oregon, Clemson over Louisville. We got South Carolina over A&M, and the Ohio State Buckeyes, Penn State, and Nittany Lions. That's about for the showcase this week. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, at the buzzer, everybody. This week's At the Buzzer, I previewed it a little bit in the headlines. It's about the rookie quarterback class we have right now. How it seems like every one of these rookies is on a great path to be great in the NFL. Let's break it down. Caleb Williams is going to be successful, and he's shown that so far. He's had a great start to his rookie season. Jaden Daniels looks like he might be the greatest quarterback of all time. Not actually, but he's playing great football, and he's the best rookie quarterback maybe we've ever seen at this point in the rookie season. Look at Drake May. He's played well in his 2 starts. He's been injured his last start, concussion, but he still played well, and the future is bright for him in New England. Bo Nix is 5-3, which I don't think anybody expected me to say, or anybody to say, that Bo Nix is 5-3 as starting quarterback so far in his NFL career. Michael Penix, we haven't seen much of him, maybe a little packages with the Falcons, but it looks like he's on a good path. He might be on that Jordan Love path. JJ McCarthy, same with him. He was a top 10 pick. He played really well in his 1 preseason game, but he tore his meniscus, but still, a good path. So, this might be that quarterback class that we dream of, that we think of when we do these mock drafts in April, where we say, whew, all these guys are going to be surefire, bona fide NFL superstars. This just might be that class. Because the previous years have been nothing but different from that. 2023, Bryce Young, he's a backup right now. If Andy Dalton is healthy, Bryce Young is a backup. C.J. Stroud is an NFL All-Pro, it seems like. He's been a hit from this draft class. Andy Richardson is a backup. Will Levis is a backup. Those are the top 4 quarterbacks in that class. 3 of them are now backups. There's more backups in this class than this year's class in 2024. So it's kind of ridiculous. 2022, we got a lot of backups here. We get the best quarterback of this draft class being Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Malik Willis is playing good football now, but he's still a backup. Kenny Pickett is a backup. Desmond Ridder is not in the NFL right now. I actually think he just got picked up by Las Vegas, but he's backup. 2021, backups. Trevor Lawrence is a starter. He's pieced himself together. A pretty nice NFL career so far and a pretty nice contract. But Zach Wilson, backup. Trey Lance, backup. Mac Jones is Trevor Lawrence's backup. We dreamed of all these classes being that quarterback class that you hit on all of them. I thought Mac Jones could be a hit. I thought Trey Lance was a hit. Thought Justin Fields was a hit. He's a backup too. Thought Zach Wilson was a hit. Thought Trevor Lawrence would be a hit. That quarterback class is just down. 2022, I thought that class would be good. Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Brock Purdy. Okay. But 2023, this is the class I really envisioned to be that starter, amazing quarterback class. No, all we have is CJ Stroud. This year's class, 2024, I was like, well, the past years haven't done it. I don't think this year will too. But this year has done it, and they've been great so far. Great start to the 2024 NFL rookie quarterback class. And I just wanted to bring that up. That's about for the buzz this week. Now, best for last, question day. This week's question day is the Sports Equinox Day the best sports day ever? I think it might be, everybody. We had our one Sports Equinox Day of the year on Monday, and that's where we have NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB all on the same day, everybody. It was awesome to see that, and that's our Sports Equinox Day. That's about question day this week. Leave your answer in the comments. That's part of Schoolyard Sports Lane Frick, episode 189. Happy Halloween! Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow Schoolyard Sports on all social media. Be back here next week for episode 190. Stay tuned.